Yes, this is an excellent book, but was it better than The Martian? We are talking about Project Hail Mary, and yes, this is a spoiler-free review. Let's quickly look at the context. Andy Weir's first novel was The Martian, originally published for free on his website in 2011. Then he put it out on Kindle for 99 cents, and it was so successful that he finally got a publisher in 2014. And I love this book. Then he published Artemis in 2017, which I think gets unfairly maligned. You can watch my review of that up here. It definitely has some negatives, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. And he also wrote a bunch of short stories and some other random things, which I haven't put in this graphic. And so we come to Project Hail Mary, published in 2021. Now, I'm not going to tell you about the plot of this book. I assume that if you've clicked on this video, you have a vague understanding of what this book is about. There's a guy stranded in space, and he does a bunch of science. So let me tell you about all the positives first. One thing about this book is it's so easy to get into. A lot of books, the first couple of pages are often a little bit hard to push through. You're introduced to new characters, new situations, and sometimes it can be a little bit hard just figuring out what's going on. That is not a problem with this book. The first line of the book is, "What's 2 plus 2?" The next line is, "Something about the question irritates me. I'm tired. I drift back to sleep." There's a lot that is clever about that. It's a basic question that everyone knows the answer to. It's already set up a couple of mysteries. Why is someone or something asking such a basic question? And why is the person not responding to it? And the book just proceeds from there. The main character is a bit of a MacGyver, and I'm totally here for that. If you don't get the reference, MacGyver was a TV show back in the 80s, I think, and it starred Richard Dean Anderson, who then went on to do Stargate SG-1. Anyway, the main character in that show, MacGyver, was always getting into these ridiculous situations, and he would just use whatever was handy, like some kitchen chemicals and whatever he could find, and hack together some weird contraption that got him out of the situation. It was so cool. Well, kind of a bit daggy, but pretty cool. This has everything I love in a good sci-fi book. There's some sort of gradually revealed scientific mystery. The main characters use some sort of science to solve some sort of mystery or deduce what's going on. And in the really good sci-fi, you can actually learn from what you're reading. Also, there are always a bunch of open questions, things that you want to know more about. And along with that, in every chapter, you're having some interesting thing being revealed. And another thing I enjoy in books, it's not necessarily science fiction, are alternating timelines. A really good example of that is the book Temple by Matthew Riley. You should totally check that one out. So in this case, there's like the present day and flashbacks. And that's not a spoiler. It's on the back of the book that this main character has lost his memory and gradually gets it back. I seem to really love books that have that flipping back and forward between two timelines. And this book is funny, or rather it's just kind of light-hearted in tone. There were times I found myself just kind of sniggering, like, And there are also a few very nerdy jokes in this book. Like there's one that you'd only get if you played the original text adventure, which was called Adventure. On a more minor note, I appreciate that there's no swearing, unlike in the previous two books. And lastly, this is a very optimistic book, and there's some very touching moments in it. Now, on to some negatives, and yes, there are just a few negatives. The middle section does slow down just a little bit, but not too much. The ending is pretty engrossing. Also, the character doesn't feel all that different to Mark Watney in The Martian. And following on from the negatives, if I try to think of people who may not like this novel, if you're someone that is not all that interested in science, you may care less about the science part of it. You may find parts of it pretty tedious because there is a lot of science in this book. Like at some points, the main character Ryland has to run these science experiments, and that can get a bit repetitive even for me. But that's about it for the negatives. Now, there is one last thing I would like to talk about. Some reviewers say that there's a big twist in this book. Don't listen to them. There is not a big twist in this book. As I was reading it, I was expecting this big twist to happen. And eventually I had to ask my son, who had read the book, I'm up to so-and-so page. Has the big twist happened? And he said, yes, it has. And I'm like, that was not a big twist. Yes, it was interesting, but there's a whole bunch of interesting things that get revealed in this book over time. And I just thought that that was just one of them. And it's a cool thing. You could say it changes the flavour of the book after that point. Just don't go into it expecting some massive Whoa, what's happening? Now back to the question, is this better than The Martian? Well, overall, I still prefer The Martian. I feel this has more variety and every step of the way was engaging. This one doesn't quite have the same excitement for me every step of the way. It's still extremely solid. I give this one 4.5 stars, which is a fantastic book. I just can't give it the 5 that I was hoping to give it, which I gave to The Martian. What do you think? Which do you prefer? Drop a comment down below. And now we get to wait for his next book. Apparently he has signed a deal last year, 2024, with Ballantine, which apparently involves AI. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. And don't watch the movie trailer before reading the book. Brandon Sanderson, Weir's finest work to date.